Finding peace in the chaos. Growing up, I always felt a bit different from others around me, as if there was a cloud hovering over my existence that others couldn't see or feel. Eventually, I began to recognize this weight as anxiety, a persistent and intrusive presence that affected countless aspects of my life. Despite this realization, I found speaking about it challenging. For a long time, I felt isolated and even ashamed of my struggle, hesitant to reach out because I worried about how others would perceive me. It wasn't until my first experience with a full-blown panic attack that I truly felt the severity of my situation. One day, I was out in public, when suddenly it felt like the world started closing in on me. My heart was racing, I couldn't catch my breath, and an overwhelming sense of doom flooded my senses. I thought I was having a heart attack. I remember sitting down on the curb, hands shaking, convinced I was going to die. That incident shook me to my core and forced me to acknowledge that my anxiety was not something I could merely dismiss or handle on my own. In the aftermath of that experience, I made the difficult decision to seek help. Through therapy and connecting with others who have faced similar struggles, I began to unshackle myself from the chains of silence I had imposed. Speaking to someone who understood allowed me to navigate through the noise in my head, to separate the irrational fears from reality. Slowly, I learned techniques to manage my anxiety, finding grounding exercises that helped mute the panic when it crept up unexpectedly. What surprised me the most was discovering that I wasn't alone in this. In sharing my stories and being open about my journey, I found a community others who had walked the same path. There was comfort in knowing I wasn't an outlier, and I drew strength from the stories of resilience and recovery that others shared with me. The more I talked about it, the more I realized how many people around us live with these invisible battles. Today, I don't claim to be entirely free of anxiety or panic, but I do live with a greater sense of peace. I've come to terms with the idea that it's okay to not be okay sometimes, and that self-acceptance is a significant part of healing.